What's wrong with Bob? What, saying that there's not some Bobs out there? Well, it was interesting because there's a kind of whole Dungeons and Dragons kind of quality to naming people in science fiction television. It's like the Thygor, like all these names and stuff. And so when the Wraith came along, there was discussion, you know, we got to come up with a name, blah, 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 blah. And I go, why not just call him like Bob or something ridiculous? And Brad thought that was really funny. And so we just added it in. Originally, I think it was going to be something to the effect of, I asked him what his name is, and he says something like Xylar of R212 or something ridiculous. And I go, okay, Bob. And then it became Bob and Todd and Steve? Yeah. Steve, Bob, Todd, Steve. And the fans really liked that. They thought that was pretty funny. And of course, they were all played by one character whose real name was Chris. Go figure. Poor Chris Hardell. I don't know. He was in Melbourne with us last week, but he's a great actor, and he has a tremendous amount of patience. So, yes.
Would you look at for your show what it is you're trying to get together to look at maybe the internet-based productions that a lot of people are sort of playing with in terms of getting stuff out there, getting a fan base?
Wait, say that first part of it again.
The show that you're trying to get together, that you're working on, would you look at maybe putting it out through the internet? It seems to be something a lot of...
No, I wouldn't. It's a good question. You can do it simultaneously, you can do it. But the financial aspects of doing that don't make sense. Amanda Tappan kind of tried to do that. And, you know, the truth is, her show has been really successful, but for slightly different reasons. She had somebody willing to fund the show privately, and that was the only reason it made it. If it was really just an internet-based show, everybody would have lost money. And also the quality of the show would go down. The problem people have with internet-based shows is that they can't monetize it. People come, they see it, they take it, they watch it, they send it to friends. But monetizing is really tricky. So when Budweiser comes along and says, well, how many people are hitting your website? You know, it could be 20 million people hitting your website, but it doesn't mean that they're watching any commercials or any of the adverts or any of that stuff. So corporations are really unwilling to pay much money. Consequently, your production value is dramatically lower. But if I did, it would be called The Joe Show, and I'd probably be at home in my office. Really high production value. Who's next? Oh.
You mentioned you wanted something that was exciting and saving the world and that type of stuff.
Yes.
Do you find that it's much of a stretch for you to get into the character of John Shepherd, or is he a lot like you?
No, not after 5 years, no. Strap the gun on, I'm like, let's go. It's actually relatively easy. When they initially talked to me about Stargate, they were like, oh, are you interested in doing Stargate? And I said, no, I'd never watched Stargate. I just assumed it was like Star Trek or something. And I was like, I can't do science fiction. I just don't do that. I can't do it. And they said, well, I encourage you to watch it or discuss it with them because there's a sense of humor they have in Stargate. And I said, oh, really? So you can take this material and, for example, could I do it like this? They said, not only could you do it, that's what we'd like. And I was like, whoa, that's really cool. You know, that's essentially was a little bit of Han Solo. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. So it opened up a whole new world for me. And now here I am in the science fiction world. And it's been amazing. It's been an amazing ride. And to the great envy of a lot of my other friends who are on well-known, prestigious network shows, they don't have the following that we have. They're really interesting. It's really rather amazing. Even this one little guest spot I did on this other show, about a month ago, broke all the records of the 17-year history of the network, broke every ratings record, even beat the premiere of Atlantis. And we were like, you know, my God, thank God. That's a fan base showing up to watch a show. How cool is that? That just doesn't happen in the other networks or with other genres. So, you know, it's pretty cool. That's why I want to keep saving the universe, by the way. It's a good career move. Who's next? Way back there. You know, the guy, look at, there's so many seats, and you must be scared of people because you're way back there.
It's part of my character.
Okay.
Back to the internet-based TV series. Why not do what Bruce Teeth do and put a sponsorship up for different members? Like have the sponsorship screen, which they pay for, and then a free screen, like a couple of weeks down the track, where everyone can see it.
Oh boy. I have to take my coat off to answer that question. You know, the truth is, okay, all right, I'll be honest, I'm lazy. It sounds like so much work, you know? I'm used to going into an office with network executives and I'm like, I got a great idea, we do this, this, and that. They're like, that is a good idea. Let's get some writers or some producers, and then all of a sudden you make a show, and then people come and they contribute their particular talents to that production. And I would have to be wearing an awful lot of hats there. I might even be bald also. You never know. But there is, the way of the future, as far as I'm concerned, is the sanctuary model will probably be the way of the future, which is a television show that could be launched through the internet, could be launched on a cable show, or even a network. But the quality of the green screening is so high that you're able to make a show for very little money that has a pretty good quality to it. So it's going to come down to the writing and the actors. And I feel like that's the part that's in some ways the easiest, but the most elusive in our business is good writing and acting. As an actor, it seems like that's the easiest thing. As a producer and executive, that's the most elusive thing. Producers and executives are very skillful at crushing almost any good thing. Because sometimes they're not quite sure what they're supposed to be doing. So they're like, I know what I'll do. I'll tell them what to do. And then they tend to ruin things. I would do it. There's a guy named Jace Hall who is a video game guy for Warner Brothers, and he approached me on an issue like that, and he's really interested in it. So it's possible I may do it, but we'll see.